Gold. The sound of the word excites us, mesmerizes us. Gold inspires us to express our highest aspirations, to race into the darkness of the unknown in its pursuit. Worlds have been united by the strength of gold, and civilizations destroyed in its name. Write the history of gold, and you will read the history of men. Such is the power of gold. 4.5 billion years ago, as the crust of Earth cooled and hardened, gold was captured in the solidifying rock. As a result, gold is present in all rocks, but in such minute particles, it's invisible. Primitive man, who first discovered gold, would never have found it in this form. Fortunately, geologic processes concentrated some of the gold bits into larger quantities and brought them to the places where early man found them. Water traveling through cracks in the earth is heated by volcanic activity. This hot water rises toward the surface, carrying with it gold dissolved from the surrounding rock. As the solution nears the surface, a chemical chain separates the gold from the water and deposits it in cracks and fissures. Bit by bit, the gold accumulates in rich veins. Unlike other metals, gold will not combine readily with other substances, so the veins are virtually pure. But these veins are still hidden from view. Curiously, it is gold's heaviness that eventually causes it to settle where man can find it.
We can compare the weight of a piece of lead with that of an equivalent sized piece of gold, and see that the gold is twice as dense as the lead.
Erosion exposes the veins at Earth's surface. As the eroded material moves downhill, gold's extreme density causes it to settle in depressions, which are often the bottoms of streams and rivers. The places where the gold collects are known as placer deposits.
This gold nugget comes from such a deposit. These deposits represent the oldest known sources of gold to man.
It took millions of years, but gold at last was in a form man could find. Primitive man saw it and liked it.
Because of its color, people associated gold with the sun, and the sun with God.
The earlier civilizations appeased the gods with gold. The Egyptians believed it would comfort the dead on their journey to the infinite.
Priests would use gold in their garments and in their various worship symbols, and then pass the garments and the worship symbols on to their priestly successors. It takes a large leap, but we're talking thousands of years, it takes a large leap of imagination to make the association of the transfer of power to the transfer of wealth.
In 560 BC, King Croesus of ancient Lydia put his imprimatur on a gold disc. He guaranteed its weight and value so it could be recognized and widely accepted. Croesus could not have realized the impact his idea would have on commerce and on history.
There have been thousands of coins minted, perhaps 20,000 different types of coins minted over the history of mankind.
There has never been a stranger quest for gold than that of the alchemists, practitioners of transmutation, the extravagant dream of turning lead into gold. Although the methodology of their conjuring became the basis of modern science, their dream proved too fantastic. So if gold could not be created, it would have to be found, or else wrested from those who possessed it.
One interesting piece of history is that when the explorers from Spain and Portugal first came to the Western Hemisphere, neither hemisphere, the Western nor the Eastern, knew of the other's existence, and yet both held gold in very high esteem.
In the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors ravaged the New World in their search for gold, often melting down the treasures they found, and all but destroying the legacy of the Incan and Aztec cultures. When gold was not found so conveniently, there was little recourse but to search for the natural veins.
Sometimes the veins have cavities in them, and the gold can form its natural crystals, which are quite beautiful. Ultimately, our crystals get destroyed by Mother Nature, pounded into formless blobs by stones and water rushing down streams, until we wind up with our most typical, the nugget.
On January 24, 1848, on the bank of the American River in Northern California, James W. Marshall chanced upon a shiny rock. It was the first clue for the mother lode. Within a year, 100,000 prospectors, tradespeople, and fortune seekers swarmed into the area. Settlements became towns and towns cities virtually overnight. Wild land was forged into a new state. Throughout history, gold rushes have been a civilizing force, affecting man's migrations and opening the wilderness.
All the gold that has been mined since the beginning of time is about, as best we can determine, 95,000 tons. If all of this 95,000 tons were to be combined in one cube, it would measure roughly 19 yards on each side. One can put that cube in the corner of a football rim. Conceivably, an entire game could be played without anybody bumping into that cube of gold. So in terms of total quantity as against wheat or copper, there isn't all that much gold around. And virtually none of the gold that has been mined has been lost.
Today, the mines of the United States and Canada yield only a small quantity of the world's gold. The rich Ural Mountains give Russia second place in world production. But it is the glittering hidden veins of the Witwatersrand Reef in South Africa that produce more than half the world's gold. The world's accessible store of gold has been so depleted that the effort required to reach what is left exacts a staggering toll on men and machines. Tunnels 2 miles deep are drilled into the earth where temperatures hover at 130 degrees. Over 5 tons of ore must be mined for 1 ounce of gold. We use modern techniques to get gold out of the ground. But then, we work gold as we always have.
All the techniques we use today were used thousands and thousands of years ago. The only thing we've done with it is we've taken it, we've refined it. We've used our technology, we've used electricity, we've used new tools, innovations, and we brought it up to the 20th century.
The techniques of goldsmithing are part of a venerable tradition. Lost wax casting, granulation, repoussé, forging, braiding. All are possible because of gold's special properties. 1 ounce of gold can be flattened into a 130 square foot sheet, so thin that light will shine through it. The resulting gold leaf turns up in the most unexpected places.
That was Rockefeller saying
But pure
lacing
gold
gold.
is too soft for jewelry, and so we mix it with other metals to improve its strength. Caratage is our system of measuring the proportion of gold to other metals. 24-karat gold is pure gold. 14-karat gold, the most commonly used for jewelry, is 14 parts gold mixed with 10 parts other metals. Gold alloyed with copper produces pink gold. Combine it with nickel and zinc, and you get white gold. Gold's versatility has propelled it into the space age. An excellent electrical conductor, gold connections will never corrode.
Microchips in a home computer or more sophisticated electronics equipment are assembled using extremely fine gold wire, 1/5 the diameter of a human hair. That this can be done is because of the superior ductility of gold. 1 ounce of gold can be drawn into a wire 1 mile long in one continuous piece.
From dentistry and medicine to jet engines and underwater cables, man continues to find wide use for this peculiar metal.
Noble.
We desire gold. We feel we never have enough of it. We make war on one another and tunnel laboriously through the earth to obtain it. But gold, after all, is only an element, a metal, just as iron, copper, and lead are metals. Each is valued according to its use, but not gold. This noblest of metals possesses a peculiar perfection, around which we have woven a spell. Our imaginations will always be radiant with its glow.